Hey guys, so in today's video, I'll be exposing Steve Lawson. So the reason why I'm exposing Steve Lawson is because he's a false prophet and he says that you have to give your life to Christ to be saved. Now giving your life to Christ to be saved is a false gospel. It's an accursed gospel and it leads souls to hell. Matthew 7 verse 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. And all this man does, is preach lordship salvation, because he's an unsaved devil who's going to split hell wide open. Now let's hear from this unsaved devil, Steve Lawson.
That's what I want to talk about in this session, the preserving grace of God. Is that not good news? That if you would give your life to Christ, and I know that you already have, but that if you were to give your life to Christ, that you would never be lost again. That you would be just as certain for heaven this very moment as though you had already spent 10,000 years in the courtrooms of heaven above.
Now, how is giving your life to Christ to be saved good news? No, that's bad news. That's condemnation. Because giving your life to Christ is hard. It's a lot of work. So how is that good news? The gospel is good news. And the way you can prove this is a false gospel is that it's bad news. Giving your life to Christ to be saved is bad news. But believing alone in Jesus Christ, that's good news. Jesus even said in Matthew 11 verse 30, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So salvation is easy, it's not hard, it's not complicated. You don't have to do good works to be saved or stay saved. Ephesians 2 verse 8 to 9. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. So notice how it says not of works. So works is anything that you do, and it's nothing you do. And giving your life to Christ is a work. It's something that you do. So giving your life to Christ has nothing to do with salvation. And John 3 verse 15 tells us how to be saved. That whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Where does it say here, give your life to Christ? No, it doesn't say that. If you believe that you have to give your life to Christ to be saved, then you're an unsaved devil who's going to hell. Romans 11 verse 6. And if by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise work is no more work. So we see in this verse that it can't be grace and works. It's either grace or it's works. And salvation is of grace. So that means salvation can't be of works. So that means you don't give your life to Christ to be saved, because giving your life to Christ is a work. Romans 4 verse 5. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. So it says here that it's belief alone in Christ alone that saves us, not works. It's faith alone in Christ alone. Trust Christ alone for your salvation. So Steve Lawson is nothing but an unsaved bastard who's a perverter. He perverts the gospel of Christ, as said in Galatians 1 verse 7, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of Christ. So what Steve Lawson is a pervert of the gospel of Christ. He's a pervert who's going to split hell wide open. Let him go to hell. Let him go straight to hell, straight to the lake of fire. He's an unsaved devil who's leading souls to hell with his false accursed gospel. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 15. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. So all Steve Lawson is number one, he's an unsaved, perverting gospel devil who's going to hell. And secondly, He's a minister of righteousness, whose end will be according to his works. He's trusting in his filthy rags to get him to heaven. Matthew 23 verse 13. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. So this is the people that Jesus was harsh to, the Pharisees. And he said, hypocrites, because that's what Steve Lawson is. He's a hypocrite. And he shuts up the kingdom of heaven, by saying that you have to give your life to Christ to be saved. And he's not going to heaven, That's why he's unsaved. That's why he's preaching a false gospel. It's because he's unsaved and going straight to hell. Galatians 1 verse 8 to 9. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we said before, so I say now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. So Paul had to repeat it twice. If anyone preaches an accursed gospel, a false gospel, let them be accursed. So Steve Lawson preaches a different gospel. So let Steve Lawson be accursed. Let Steve Lawson go straight to hell. Let him burn in hell. Thank you.